Patrick Hammer.
Nice to be here.
Yes, so fun, yeah.
This is an interesting little conversation piece. There are countless types of apps out there for your iPhone or Android that are getting the attention of a lot of parents. One in particular is called Snapchat.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. So if you haven't heard of it, this is how it works. So you take a picture of something. So I'm going to take a picture of our lovely panel that we have here today. All right, let's see how everybody's doing. Everybody smile. Say cheese. Okay, cheese. There we go. All right, so I take this picture, and basically I can send this off to a friend with a note or a text if I want. And then once I hit send, I'm going to send it to William over there. And as soon as I send it, he has a few seconds. He has 10 seconds once it's open to view this picture. And then that picture message is supposed to be gone forever after that. But the problem is there are ways to actually keep this picture around, and teens aren't always using it for what it's intended to be used for. So around the family table, we have a panel of parents and experts to get their thoughts today. Parenting expert Jenny Hanlon, we have TCL advice guru Carla Barnhill, and social media coach William Wells. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, did you get the picture?
I have the picture.
Okay.
You have it.
So you could have sent a picture of anything, but you think since it gets deleted in 10 seconds, you could be maybe risque or do something you don't want anybody else to see.
But the trick is, William, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's actually something you can do to save this longer.
There is. To save it permanently.
Permanently?
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay. So what, first of all, is this app actually intended for? What's the thought behind it?
I think as a group, we're still wondering. It's for quick pictures, for quick texts, for quick messages, with the idea that it's safe because it's not going to be around for long.
Yeah, and it's one of the most popular from what I hear out there.
Yeah.
People that I had no idea that it existed were coming up saying, oh, I love it. I love it.
Right. Well, and my daughter's she's in high school, and she said she knows she doesn't have it, but she said a lot of her friends will use it, and they'll just send each other quick, goofy pictures like making a face, or and then send it to make their friend laugh at lunch or something.
Yeah. And you can draw on it too.
But
you can make
if you know it's going to be erased, I mean, then there's that temptation to do something you shouldn't do.
Exactly, and that's why it's a big issue, and that's why parents are rightly should be concerned about this.
So here, as as parents and as an expert, and so what do you do to tell your kids then about this? I mean, how do you set this up to say you can use this, but how do you know that they're actually behaving and doing it the way that they should be doing it?
Do you actually want to answer that? I think that one might be better for you.
Well, no, my answer would be that I would be like old school dad, and it would be there's no point to this, there's no reason for it. I don't see an advantage to having it.
Yeah, and
seems like the
I'm with you.
consensus is here.
It doesn't do anything you can't do through Facebook or through Twitter or anything else. So.
Well, and I think with all these things, we have to provide our child with understanding what could go wrong with it, what are the dangers in it. Kids aren't thinking about that pedophiles are out there and could be seeing things, or that things could be locked in this, in cyberspace forever, and harm them down the road, prevent them from getting a job or.
Oh yeah.
And that's right. Who's thinking about that at 13, 14 years old?
And I think the other thought is some people are worried about the sexting, of course, and the bullying even, sending things out that they didn't want other people to see, and then suddenly, like you said, they're saving it and they're sending it off to who knows where.
Right.
So what's your recommendation if a parent does have a child that says, okay, I really want to use this, I promise I'm using it. I mean, if you go to the privacy settings, is that going to help at all?
When it comes to that, parents can do a lot with phones. Service providers offer the ability for you to actually set controls through them as to what a number is going to be able to do, whether it can access stores for downloads and things of that nature. The second line of defense, if you would be actually on the phone itself. There's a number of ways that a parent can go in prior to handing the phone over and set things up so that certain applications can't be accessed. Again, the store where things are downloaded can't be accessed. Okay. And then thirdly, there's always software apps that a parent could download. Things like iPhone or Phone Sheriff is one. Okay. Mob Shield is another, where you can set absolutely any sort of scenario where they can safely call. You can set times when they should be able to use the phone and don't need to be using the phone, and it's really more for their protection than it is controlling and monitoring. It's keeping them safe from the things that they aren't going to be expecting or are aware of.
Well, and anytime you're going to be monitoring something for your child, be sure that they know that. I mean, so it doesn't feel like spying, because then you're setting it up.
Then you'll learn to resent your parents. It's like, you're always looking over me.
And and putting it in the context of safety, like you said, that my job as your parent is to help you understand what safety features, and part of that is doing that.
It's not about not necessarily trusting them, but like
Who
you
else
don't
is
know
out
what
there?
happens with this technology when it's out of your hands.
Right. This is as dangerous a device as say a car. And you know, a kid who gets his license, you don't say, here's the keys, there's the car, do what you want with it. There's so much that they don't know about, and so you're taking on the responsibility of protecting them.
And I think a lot of parents too, they were writing into us on Facebook. We have some questions, and one of them is from Morningstar. She's from St. Paul, and asked, my son has an iPhone and he knows more about it than I do, and he uses Facebook. I tell him all the time to stay away from the negative stuff, but I'm just trying to trust him, but I still worry. So what's your advice for her? Because I think a lot of parents feel the way she does. They don't want to be that helicopter parent.
Right.
Right. Well, and I think what's unfortunately happening is, and I don't agree with helicopter parenting, but I think people are so afraid of that they're going to the extreme and not parenting. And I would recommend for this parent to go on Facebook, even if she doesn't really want to be on there. Go on there and friend.
Well, you had to deal with your daughter, right?
When
you said,
when my daughter was 13 and wanted to be on Facebook, I said, okay, you can be on Facebook, but your dad and I are both going to be your friends, and we know your password, and we will go in there if the mood strikes. So just know it's like you're in the living room. Act like you're in the living room with us at all times. And I do, and I am friends with her, so I can go on and check and see what's happening. I don't log into her account very often, but she knows that I might. So
and even if you don't go on, just the fear of having your parent possibly checking, I think will stop that.
Well, and quickly, the understanding that as they get older, these tools can be used in a positive way to help with job possibilities or college possibilities, and start using these to connect and use them the right way so that they're using them responsibly and to their advantage.
Well, that's interesting that you talk about the connection, because our own Cooking for Dads host, Rob Barrett, had a question on Facebook and was wondering, can anything good come from this, though? Because they are saying that there are some studies out there that the constant conversation through texting, or maybe the constant all-day long contact teens share, is that actually harmful in the long run, because you don't communicate as much as we used to face-to-face, it seems like.
And there is that danger, and I think sometimes as parents of a different generation, we have a tendency to feel like it's all bad and wrong, and it's not. There are benefits to it. There is the kind of building your future benefit. It is a way for kids to, even though it's a different way to practice their social skills than face-to-face, there's some skills to be learned in how do you communicate your ideas and your thoughts and your opinions in ways that are respectful and kind and honor other people. And so there are skills, I think, that can be developed out of this too.
Well, and one thing too is, where the danger lies is where kids are growing up and never really learning who they are, because they're never alone. They go to bed and they're texting. They can text in the middle of the night. They're constantly on Facebook. Kids aren't really journaling anymore. They're putting stuff on Facebook.
Because when we grew up, we had me time.
But
now, even now, like, I never have it because I'm always checking Twitter.
And that is the greatest concern. Well, not greatest because they're bigger data, but that is a big concern for,
Well, and this is one of those areas too where if parents sort of push themselves away from the social media world and don't use it as a way to connect with their kids, it can become an isolating part of your child's life. And so, again, being Facebook friends with my daughter isn't just to monitor her, to keep an eye on her, but it also is, I share stuff with her on Facebook. Like, I read this article and it made me think about you, or whatever, and to kind of use it as a way, and then when we see each other, we have something else, we talk about that.
Well, there's sometimes where the kids will share more through a text in their teen years, and you know what? I mean, that is a good thing as well.
20 years ago, when I got involved in this thing called the internet and email, one of the first things that came to mind was that this is going to create an environment where we have a younger generation that don't have interpersonal communication skills, and that probably is the biggest downside with this, and that was email. And that was like,
and just look where it's gone
chatting
now.
in the chat rooms, and now it's exploded.
Well, I feel like we could talk about this all day. I think this is one of those issues that everybody has an opinion about. So for more information, though, if you're curious now about Snapchat and you want to see kind of what you can learn from it, go to TwinCitiesLive.com and click on Fun, because we have a lot more information, including some other links for you as well. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Interesting.
Yeah, well, if you're feeling a little chilled, how about